without further ado, let's kind of just break down cold calling. I swear, guys, cold calling can be the thing that changes you. I know a lot of people are against cold calling and how can I do deals without cold calling? I hate guys. A lot of people don't like cold calling because it requires one thing, and that's work. And cold calling, hands down, is the cheapest, fastest, most effective way, even if you spend a bunch of money on getting into wholesaling real estate. Is for I would say 80% of wholesalers out here, cold calling is probably going to be your best way of getting your first real estate wholesaling deal. It's fast, it's cheap, it's reliable, and people do cold calling deals every single day. And just pretty much cold calling works in every single market. That's why I love it, guys. I swear, if you take what I say in this video, it can change your life. Absolutely. Like, you can easily make 100K a month. 100K a year is pretty much guaranteed if you can do the steps we teach today. But really, like, you can run a 7-figure wholesaling operation straight off of cold calling. Very hard for a lot of people not to do that. It's very hard for people to do that outside of cold calling. And one thing about cold calling is it's so quick. Like, you want to get some deals right now, it's there. If you're scared about a saturated market, if you're saturated market, you just get the right list, change it up, your cold calling is fine. The cool part about, like, if you're virtual wholesaling, like, cold calling is like the way. It's the way. You got no money, you're in virtual wholesaling, you're good to go, guys. The reason why I say cold calling will change your life, and we're going to get into all the step-by-steps today, but I just want everyone to understand why I'm so passionate about teaching cold calling. It's because if you have no money right now, anywhere in the entire world, you can point anybody in the entire world right now. If you have no money, if you have an internet connection and pretty much a phone, you can wholesale real estate. And this is all through the power of cold calling. Cold calling makes that possible. There's no other marketing channel where that really works as well. And pretty much no other marketing channel, if you are broke right now, anywhere in the entire world right now, where you can make money in wholesaling real estate except for cold calling. Cold calling is the only answer for that. So I'm looking at this video today of somebody who has no money. They're anywhere in the entire country or the world, and they're broke, and they want to get their life in order. They want to change their life in wholesaling real estate. This is the strategy. Let's get into it. I'm excited because I'm going to change some lives today. We're going to do some cold call role plays. So on the streamer link, if you want to go in my Wholesaling House for a Facebook group, it is pinned on there. Hop in. We're going to do role plays too at the end of this. So take what I'm saying. It's really cool. Take the information I say right here, and then I want you to take some notes, and we're going to go. And guys, remember, these tutorials I do, they're very in-depth. So there's a lot of information I'll be throwing at you with a slideshow. I try to make it as visually appealing as possible. Just remember, you can rewind whenever you want. When this live stream is over, the live will be like, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, how long I want to go live. I can go live how long ever I want. But you can replay, screenshot, do whatever you want, guys. Don't feel like you have to get all the information in at once. I don't want to act like or pretend like I'm giving you too much information that I really don't want to. But like, just if you have questions, let me know. I'm always here to help. So let's break this down. This is cold calling 101. Let's kind of break this down, guys. I usually cold call on Tuesdays, but I don't want to do 2 cold calling videos a week. That'd be a lot. So we're going to take today on Tuesdays just for cold calling, and we're going to break it down, guys. If I spend pretty much every Tuesday on live calling or talking about cold calling, there's a reason why I'm telling you, because cold calling is amazing. So let's break this down. So this is my cold calling mastery mini course. I can kind of call it whatever you want, but this is really, it is a mini course if you really want to look at it, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to break down how to cold call and basically master your cold calling step by step for wholesaling real estate, guys. If you don't know what cold calling is, you don't know anything about it, this is literally the video for you. It's amazing, guys. And I really want to share with you, like, cold calling is not as complicated as it seems. You are not, like, when it comes to cold calling, like, it's not complicated. A lot of people think it's this crazy script, all these things you have to know. It's really simple. It all comes down to having conversations. And if you're, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, you spent the majority of your life. I mean, if you're 40, 50, 80 years old, you spent the majority of your life having conversations, right? With your mom, dad, friends, uncles, sisters, like online, right? You spend a lot of time having conversations with people. And that's all you're really doing on cold calling. And a lot of people have anxiety when it comes to that, but really, you shouldn't have any anxiety when it comes to cold calling sellers. So we're going to, like, this is a mastery mini course. So like everything about it, we're breaking down today. So let's break this all down. So remember, guys, on the bottom here, there's a little thing, freewholesaling.com. If you do want to learn wholesaling real estate absolutely for free, I do recommend you go to freewholesaling.com. That's my free real estate wholesaling course. So let's break this down. So what is cold calling? Like, let's kind of bring it down to the fundamentals here, right? I feel like a basketball coach, the fundamentals, but it's absolutely true. But like, so what is cold calling, guys? So cold calling is the art of reaching out to homeowners for the intent to contact people, basically them, and basically see if they want to sell their property for a cash offer. Really, guys, cold calling at the end of the day, we're just reaching out to people and seeing if they're interested in selling their property and most likely a cash offer on the property. That at the fundamental is cold calling. Okay. Did I say we're closing sellers? Cold calling is not about closing sellers. Okay. Some Zillow for sale, but other stuff I do, yes, because they're kind of a little different than regular cold calling. So yes, I can do some closing there live for you guys, but really, cold calling is not about closing sellers. It's just reaching out to people and seeing if they're interested. That is the point. So these are my 4 steps to cold calling motivated sellers. And I was like, all right, you know what is cold calling? How can I simplify cold calling? I was thinking about this. Like, how can I really explain cold calling in the most fundamental, simple way for anyone to really understand? So it doesn't seem as confusing and scary, because a lot of these gurus make it seem so scary and crazy. What is cold calling, guys? Cold calling is basically 4 fundamental truths, fundamental steps, frameworks, whatever you want to call them. But really, cold calling comes down to these 4 things. Number 1, pulling a list of somebody who might want to sell the property for cash, right? Just, it's maybe, not guaranteed, but a certain list. And we're going to break down all these steps today, guys. Don't worry about it, right? Step 2, we're going to go skip trace that list. And we're going to break down skip tracing, guys. Don't, like, if I might be throwing out words that are very confusing. I get it, right? Skip tracing is basically a way of finding somebody's phone number. So basically, number 1, we pull a list of maybe people that are behind on the mortgage. And step 2, we're going to go find their phone numbers. That's what skip tracing is, kind of a detective's term. I don't know why it's called like that, but that's what it is. Step 3 is cold calling the list. So that's basically it. We're just calling these lists that we got their phone numbers up. We're going to say our scripts. Guys, it is acting to a point. We're just saying the lines on the script. Like, we're not doing too much improv on it. So don't get too stressed over that. And then 4 is, putting yeses in a CRM format. Really, guys, that's what we're doing. We're putting yeses in a CRM format. So basically a format. So a CRM basically is a database of all these leads. So we're going to cold call the list. Are you looking to sell your property? They say yes. We're going to basically say the script to get off the phone. Then we're going to put that yes in basically our database. A CRM can basically be anything. Again, at freeholding.com, I break down how to use Podio, other things, but like, just try to get somebody who wants to sell their property, put them in a database, and boom, you're pretty much good to go. Those are the 4 steps of cold calling. I can argue with anyone all day, but that's pretty much what cold calling, that is the gist of cold calling. We're just getting yeses, people that are interested in selling their property. That is the fundamental truth. That is the fundamental thing. That's the fundamentals of just cold calling motivated sellers. You just want to find people that want to sell the property. I don't care what your guru says. I don't care what anyone says. As someone that runs a 7-figure wholesaling operation, people that know pretty much everyone that runs 7-figure wholesaling operations, they run their business the same exact way. Their only goal is to find someone that is interested in selling their property. That's pretty much it. They do some vetting, more or less, but not really too complicated, okay? The point here is just getting a yes in the CRM. So that is the 4 points here. That's it. So let's break this down a little more depth. Let's kind of get into the steps, right? So what to know before we start? Let's break down these steps fundamentally, but what do we have to know, right? Like, what do we know before we have to start, right? We have to ask these questions to ourselves in wholesaling real estate, right? Number 1, what kind of lead list are you pulling, and what kind of lead list are we calling? You have to ask yourself that question, right? Number 2, how much time are we planning to call a week? Guys, I can't tell you how much time you should be calling every single week, right? Maybe you can call 5 hours a week. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 15. The more the merrier, honestly. That's what I've seen. So that's how much time you got to ask yourself that question, right? You have to figure out what script you're going to be using, guys. I'm going to show you exactly the right script to be using today, but obviously it can change for everyone else, right? You got to figure out what script you're using. If you don't know what script you're using, your success in wholesaling real estate is not going to be as good as it should be. Next here is, do you know how to overcome common objections, and what are they? You're going to want to know what the most common objections in cold calling are, and how do you overcome them? We're going to break that down today also. Next is, did you create an action plan? I am really, really, really overall telling everybody, I've really been doing this for this entire year, but I'm telling everyone you need to create an action plan. And we'll break this all down today. You cannot start this unless you're creating that action plan. You're going to get destroyed. So let's try to break down. So the first one is, what kind of lead lists are we going to pull and call, right? So what are them, right? Let's kind of break this down. What are the best leads to call? So what are the best lists to call, right? This is what it is. Number one, government lists. Hands down, I tell everyone to pull government lists. I'll share what government lists are in a second. But I still think straight up right now, in any market you are in, you choose in virtual wholesaling or regular wholesaling real estate, government lists are going to be hands down the best. These are leads you get absolutely for free from your local government. I love government lists. Hands down, one of my favorites. I absolutely adore government lists. Guys, I'm the only YouTuber that talks about government lists, which is kind of scary. Without me and Rick, I don't know. All these deals would be off the table. And it's very, very concerning for me. There's tens of millions of dollars every single year. Like people like probably actually hundreds of millions of dollars if you include me. And then include like everyone in the circle that I'm like teaching, because we got hundreds of thousands of wholesalers doing deals, all from a lot of them from government lists. Without us, it's crazy, guys. You have to be calling government lists. Next, I really like the vacant lists, right? How do you pull a vacant list, right? ListRI.com, ZaxData.com. There are two great websites that you can do. You can do free trials on both. Check them all out. But just getting a list of vacant properties that are just sitting there abandoned, they're really good. They're actually really good wholesaling lists. I actually love them. Okay. Vacant properties are good. Use the filters I do teach at freewholesaling.com. I do recommend that. Great list. Let's go to the next one here. High equity. Guys, if there's equity in a property, which I'm not going to give the whole equity like breakdown today, but like if somebody doesn't owe too much money on the property, like a big mortgage or a lien or something like that, that's a pretty good lead, because they're willing to give up a lot of equity, a lower price when they have higher equity. So that's a great one. Just use my filters I have at freewholesaling.com. I'll break that down. Next is drawing for dollars, guys. That's getting your car looking for ugly looking houses and then using that as a list. Call them up. Ooh, chef's kiss. Amazing list. Guys, need to be pulling that one. I love drawing for dollars. Next here, tired landlords. People that are owning rental properties and have owned it for a while, and they're just kind of tired of it. They just want to get rid of the rental property. They don't want to deal with it. Amazing list to cold call. It's really good. I think tired landlords is very underrated right now. Use the freewholesaling.com filters and you'll do well. Lastly, Zillow for sale by owners are a little different. I do cold call them most Tuesdays. Pretty much every week I do a cold calling video. Most Tuesdays I cold call for sale by owners. Just go to freewholesaling.com and break down how to cold call the for sale by owners. It's a great list. The leads are right there, absolutely for free. There's actually no skip tracing involved with that list, so I highly recommend it. Now, what are the top government lists to pull, right? We have code violations. We have probates. Oh, I don't know how that slide worked, but whatever. We have code violations, probates. So code violations, people that are basically behind on code. Usually it's tall grass or structural damage. There's structural damage. There's mold on the property, right? Probates is another listing. Pull absolutely for free. Somebody that unfortunately passes away. Talk to the heirs. That's a good one. Tax liens, credit card debt lien lists, and IRS debt lien lists. People behind on their taxes on the property. Basically, people that are behind on the credit card, and also people behind on their IRS debt lien lists. I'm just telling you guys right now, very underrated. No one really talks about this, right? Another government list I love, water shutoffs for cold calling. I really like the fire damage property. So water shutoff, the water's not working in your house. Probably you want to get rid of the property, right? Kind of crazy, but yes. Fire damage properties, right? Fire damage properties is a good list. That's a list of people that, their house went on fire, right? I mean, probably want to get rid of that property. There's some damage there, right? And the next part here, is we kind of mentioned, is creating an action plan. What is creating an action plan? And I can really say what an action plan is in one sentence, right? It's creating a plan and sticking to it. That's what an action plan is. So an action plan consists of two things: creating a time budget and a money budget. What is a time budget, right? Time budget. Hey, so there's two valuable resources in wholesaling real estate. Everyone thinks money is basically it, but no, it is time and money. Time is money, right? You guys, you've heard this a million times, right? One thing I can tell you right now is, if you don't have a lot of money, but you have time, you can wholesale. If you don't have much time, but you have money, you can wholesale. The only thing that's difficult is when you don't have time or money, and that's very, very difficult. I get that. There's some ways around that, but that's the hardest part. So the two finite resources we have in life is time and money. And really, our health to a point, but that's comes back to time, right? So if you're wholesaling, you want to understand how to utilize those two assets. Hey, I'm going to cold call for 3 hours. I'm going to do appointments for an hour, and then I'm going to do cash buyers for an hour. Like, you got to create a budget of how much you're spending your time and what you're using your time for, and then use the money. If you have zero money at all, that's fine. We're going to just probably use more time. If we have zero time, we can use some money to kind of buy the time to a point. But really, you have to understand how you're doing both things. And once you create that action plan, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cold call this list for this amount of time. And then I'm going to do this list for this amount of time, do this much time for cash buyers. It's time for follow-up, acquisition, stuff like that. You're going to be fine, guys. Nobody that has become successful in life, especially in entrepreneurship, pretty much every single person that was successful had a plan. And they might go off a whim on their company, but pretty much you look at the 10 most successful people in the entire country when it comes to their net worth, how much money they make, everything. And even look at all the real estate guys, right? Even the top wholesalers, they all had a plan. Every single one had a plan. So if pretty much every successful person you know has a plan, why do you think you're the exception? Because you're not. I promise you that. You are not the exception, okay? Every single person that really has become a millionaire, they pretty much all had a plan. You got the lottery people. They had a plan to get a lottery ticket. Like, they're all plans to a point, right? Everything's a plan, but it's going to help you just create your success a lot more. Now, next part we have to know before we get started is what dialer to use. You guys, this is something that's uncommon, untalked about, but like, you have to use a dialer for wholesaling real estate. When it comes to your cold calling, you need a dialer. And I'm not telling you have to pay for a dialer, right? But like, you do need a dialer. I don't use using your personal phone number. I've never advocated for anyone using their personal cell phone number for cold calling. I've never said that, right? So what do you do, right? So you can use either two dialers. There's free dialers and there's paid dialers, right? What's a free dialer? You can use something like GoogleVoice.com, which basically is a free dialer where you can get a phone number for whatever area code you're wanting to cold call. So if I lived, let's say, in Miami and I'm cold calling in, let's say, I don't know, Ohio, or, you can go more out west like Missouri. I'm going to use a Missouri area code, not my Miami one. So it sounds a lot better. You can record the calls. You can have a professional voicemail. You can kind of separate the personal from the voice, and you can always change Google Voice. You can also change the phone number whenever you want. Kind of hard to change your personal cell phone number all the time. So Google Voice is definitely the best one for free calling. Next, you can use a paid auto dialer. You can basically call 3, 4, 10, 12 lines at a time, which basically makes you a lot more efficient on your cold calling. I recommend ZachDialer.com. That's kind of the dialer that I use, and I recommend. That's mine. So just go to ZachDialer.com, and you can try to dial it out for free. But you don't need it starting out, right? Like, unless you're doing some deals consistently, I'm probably telling you not to use an auto dialer. But if you're on team systems, ZachDialer.com is probably a good choice. Then I break all down at freewholesaling.com. So let's break into the steps. Let's kind of get into everything, right? So step one is polling your list, right? So how do we poll a list, right? So guys, at freewholesaling.com, I do break down step-by-step how to actually poll a cold calling list the right way, how to pull a government list, vacant list, high equity, off batch leads, off prop stream, all the stuff. I break it all down. Okay, so remember that, guys. At freewholesaling.com, I really break down how to pull lists the right way. So I would go there on how to pull those government lists and everything like that, guys. To pull a government list will probably take me 2 hours to do a full in-depth one. But I already have had nice recorded, all nice. You got me all looking good, right? With the nice editing and all that. It's all there. Trust me, it's very good. So I'll go to freewholesaling.com and really kind of learn how to pull the list the right way. Again, guys, in the bottom right corner there. Step 2 is skip tracing that list, getting their phone number. Like most things, there's free and paid ways to do it. So the free way to find somebody's phone number when you pull a list, let's say of a code violation, right? We're either going to use truepeoplesearch.com, which is hands down my top one. Like, I'm telling you guys, is the best one. Right now, there's no better free skip tracing platform or website out here for free than truepeoplesearch.com. If I have a list of 100 people, I'm going to use truepeoplesearch.com if I got no money. I absolutely love it. I'll probably try to create my own one if they get rid of it, right? White pages. There's other ways of doing it, but really truepeoplesearch.com I have found has been between some areas it's 40% accurate, and then it goes up to like 70% accurate in some areas. They're all over the place. It averages about 50 to 55% accurate. And that's not the most fun number to say, right? But like it's free. And even paid services, you're going to get some of the lower end paid services are going to be like 75 to 80. Then the high ends can be, 85 to 90%. So for you can get most people's phone numbers off truepeoplesearch.com. White pages will help you out. There's fast people search. There's all these other websites, right? But they're basically free. I have tutorials at freewholesaling.com how to pull them. You can also DM sellers. That's one thing. So if I find like a really good property and I can't reach them, just direct message them on Instagram, Facebook. Hey, I had a quick question about your property. Can you please call me? Put your phone number there. I'm telling you, it works a lot more than you would think. So yeah, DMing sellers actually not a bad way to do it. That's free ways of finding people's phone numbers. If you guys know a better way, please let me know. But from my 5 years of wholesaling real estate, me doing thousands of real estate wholesaling deals, Rick doing basically 3,000 plus real estate wholesaling deals, and him wholesaling for 20 plus years, that's what we've seen. I would love to know if there's any other difference, right? Now, obviously, you have paid skip tracing. The difference between free and paid skip tracing to a point, guys, is with free skip tracing, I have to manually. So if I have a list of 100, I have to copy in the address, post it, like paste it in the group, in the thing, get their phone number, copy it, and then put it in the Excel or the Google Sheets, and then do it one by one. It's very manual. I get it, right? Now, obviously, it's kind of harder to do it for free, but like the problem is when we have like 3,000, like a list of 2 or 3,000 we pull on listaria.com or zachdata.com. That's when we pay for a list, right? So like listaria.com, we just literally upload a CSV or a Google, basically Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets format. I think they're called XSLVs or XLS or just a CSV, honestly. But like basically you just upload it and then it'll kind of spit back the phone numbers there because they already use a paid skip tracing service. And basically paid skip tracing services, what they do is they get credit bureau data, which is most of them, they get it from credit bureau. So when every single time you actually pull your credit, you got to put your name and your phone number and your address in. They're actually selling that data to companies like these, and they actually give it back to you. That's where most of these services are. The free services don't do that because it just costs money. The big data companies actually sell your data like crazy. Welcome to the USA, baby. So we can profit off of that by just buying a list off of those people from this credit bureau data, which listaria.com does, zachdata.com, like they're basically gets them from a third party, but it works really well. I've tested all these out really well. This is honestly what I've seen. So listaria.com is 12 cents a record. It's about 80 to 85% effective, where zachdata.com is a little more expensive, but it's way better. I have found is basically 85, 90% effective. It can push to, I've had 95% effective lists on there. Listaria.com, obviously they are pouring a ton of money on research and development. So I think their skip tracing can get better. And zachdata.com, I will tell you, I've had conversations lately with all the people over there, and they are pouring a ton of money on some insane stuff. So I'm expecting just both services to get better and better every single year with their skip tracing. But that's kind of how technology works, guys, right? So that's paid versus free skip tracing, right? Now, step 3 is just calling the list. And this is when we really get in the nitty gritty. This is really getting to the fun stuff, right? This is stuff we're going to talk about with the live role-playing sessions today with everything. We're really getting into it. So let's break this down. So step 3, cold calling the lists. This is when it gets scary. This is when everyone's like, ooh, oh no. This is when I'm getting scared, right? I got to start calling people, right? Guys, you were just saying the lines, and that is it. Hands down, you got to remember that. You are just doing the lines. That is all you're doing. You are just saying your lines. That's it. So if I have a line and I'm going to say the sentences, that's pretty much it. Okay. So do the lines and you'll do well, guys. I see it all the time where everybody just gets so nervous about cold calling, right? And the honest truth is, when it comes to your cold calling, just say the lines and you do fine. Okay. If you have to say 2 lines on a TV show, you're probably not going to get nervous because you already know what to say. And you already know the worst. Okay. Like, it's not going to be that big of a deal, right? And that's basically what we're doing. We're literally saying 2 lines for a cold calling. So let's break down my $1 million cold calling script. This is literally a $1 million, guys. I personally make millions of dollars every single year from this cold calling script, and millions of people, not millions, but people, hundreds of thousands of people are making millions of dollars with this cold calling script they have for the VAs and everybody else. So we're going to break this down. This is my $1 million cold calling script, guys. It's really simple. You guys are actually going to be very offended when I say this, but this is it. Okay. You guys are going to get offended how simple the script is, but this is the script that's making me millions of dollars. So step one here, you see this. Is this the owner of 123 Main Street? That's the first thing we ask. Guys, let me explain this really quick. I just want to make sure everyone understands what I'm saying, guys. The average guru right now is charging to get their cold calling script right now $100 usually. $100 minimum to get their cold calling script. It's insane. And for their paid mentorship, you got to probably spend $4, $5, $6, even $8,000 to get a script like this. And I'm giving it to, this is literally $1 million script. I could literally charge you. I could probably charge $2,000 for the script and like this little mini course I'm making on this video. I could really make it bigger, make a whole little course, guys. I could do it like for wholesaling.com, charge $2,000. I could probably sell 1,000 of them, like of those really quick. So what's that? I'm telling you, I just want you guys to understand this. Like I could probably make a quick this month, 2 million selling a cold calling course, and they will pay it. Trust me. But I'm not a stupid little guru. I ain't going to do that. But what I could tell you is people spend a lot of money for this information, and I'm giving it to you. So just understand, if you're going to pay me $2,000 right now, this is literally the script I'm going to get because it's made me millions of dollars. It's also made hundreds of thousands of people a lot of money. So let's kind of share this. So is this the owner of 123 Main Street? That is the first thing we say. That's it. Okay. Whatever address they have. And the next question is, hey, this is Zach. I had a quick question. Are you interested in selling that property? That's it. And guess what we do? We look for the yes. They say no. Okay, no worries. Have a great day. A lot of people don't like this script. No, actually, most people actually love the script because it makes them millions of dollars. The people that never use the script say it's too simple and it doesn't seem professional. I want you to understand this script was formulated perfectly over 3 years ago, really when I got really into cold calling the VAs, because I had two main issues. Number one, the VAs try to become complicated. They don't understand American culture. They have accents and they're not the best. Okay. It's crazy, but they're not the best. And so I need a script that was simple. Someone with an accent can just say it really quick and get the message out. And I'm saying this truthfully, when I'm paying someone $4 an hour cold call, they can't F it up. And that is the point. The script is super simple because none of my cold callers can screw it up. And that's that is it. A beginner really can't screw that up. And what do you do when you can, on a large scale, say a script that works really effectively and they can't screw it up? You get real results. And the last but not least on this, the script is simple for those reasons, but here's also the biggest reason. It doesn't sound like a telemarketer. The one biggest issue I've had when it comes to scaling a cold calling operation is I have 10, 15, 20 of my wholesalers, my competition, cold calling the same lists. How do I crush it? How do the people watching videos like this on Flip with Rick, Zach and Rick and Wholesaling House for Real, how do they all crush it with their cold calling with my stuff? Why do people making millions of dollars from that script? Because you don't sound like a guru. That is the point. When someone says, hey, I had a quick question. Are you the owner of the house? And it's curious, like, you know, like that doesn't sound like it. You guys know when you get these telemarketing calls, you know for a quick second, it's a telemarketer. The way the script is structured, you don't really know if it's a telemarketing call. This might just be somebody that drove by the house and had a quick question about it, right? Like, you're intrigued. You're not in telemarketing mode. The problem with most people with their cold calling is they get in telemarketing mode. I'll get off this phone with this telemarketer, right? I'm sick of this. Hey, are you doing this 123 Main Street? How does he know that? Huh? Yeah. You're like, who could it be? Could it be the cops? Could it be a hospital? Could it be a doctor? Like, you're very curious. You kind of get thrown off by that. Hey, I had a quick question. He has a question? Telemarketers never ask that. Telemarketers say, are you interested in buying the 1, 2, 3, 4 system? The ab shredding, fat burning system. And they sound like they're reading off a script. The script is so simple. It doesn't even seem like you're even using a script. You're just calling out of the blue. You're literally calling straight up. And it seems like you're just having a regular conversation. Guys, it works so well because people are used to everyone else. And this is different. And it gets to the point, are you interested? And the last one is, are you interested in selling your property? That is the most important thing with cold calling. I cold call tens of thousands of homeowners. I've not had one deal. I've not had one deal where the person was not interested in selling the property and I buy the house from them. We are not in the business in wholesaling real estate, especially cold calling, of forcing people to sell the properties. We only want to put properties under contract with people that want to sell it. That is it. I don't know if this is a big ethical dilemma for people, but like, if somebody doesn't want to sell their property, why do you want to buy their house? Why do you want to force them out of their home? I don't want that. Okay. I want to buy properties for people that want to sell it. So if I ask them if they're interested and they say no, there's literally no more I should pretty much say to the person. I could always say, do you have any other properties you're looking to sell? Sure. But really, that's it. Like, it blows my mind. Like, it's because when I keep that script simple, I save so much time. I got to call an extra 1,000 sellers probably every single week. My team does. And that's 1,000 sellers. That's 52,000 extra conversations I have every single year, which crushes my competition. That's my $1 million script. A lot of people don't like it, but it's the honest truth. So let's kind of get into the script a little more here. And really, like, there's a little more to it, right? But what I could tell you is it's insane. So let's kind of break down the script a little more here because it's simple on purpose, guys. And the reason why it's simple is, of course, it's going to help you out, and it's going to help pretty much anyone who's brand new really know what they're doing. So let's kind of break this down right here. So, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? Hey, this is Zach. I had a quick question. Are you interested in selling your property? And that's pretty much it. Now, if they say yes, so this is the script, screenshot it, do whatever you want with it. You can put it on your poster, you can write it down, whatever. Guys, Rick has literally been using this cold calling script for 20 plus years. Well, he had another script, and he had like a 5 sentence one. And basically 4 years ago, I really broke it down into this. So this is my script I've been using for pretty much 4+ years. And this is modified from this script's technically 5 years old if I really want to like break it down, because I use a modified version of this with my bandit signs where I basically ask them, are you the owner and are you interested? When someone called me with the bandit sign. So I've really been using this script for like 5+ years. And Rick's been using it for 10+ years. So this script for decades have been used, okay, by 7-figure wholesalers. So I'm just telling you guys, it worked. When I was a 17-year-old kid making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year in assignment fees, I was using pretty much a script like this. So this is my $1 million cold calling script. The gurus can hate on me, okay? I want to bring this because we do have a live show. Heaven B said, I paid $87 for a script that says, I'm interested in purchasing your property. It's ridiculous. Like, guys, like, I'm giving you a lot of value here. So that's interesting, though. But yeah, that's it. So let's kind of break down some of the most common objections, right? So just understand wholesaling real estate. You can ask that question and you might get an objection. And what did I say about before you start calling? You should know what the most common objections are, because you might get thrown off. And it's not like fighting, but it's a lot easier than fighting. Okay. So if I'm fighting you and I got my hands up, right, and I go for a straight punch, okay, like I go here and I'm going for a straight punch and I go really slowly, you have two choices. You can just stand there and get punched in the face, which, why do you want to do that? Or you just move to the left, like the first Spider-Man. Okay, no Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'm talking about the OG Maguire Spider-Man, where it's like everything's in slow motion, like, because you know what's going on, right? And I can tell you, like, it's not like getting punched. Obviously, like, objection's way easier than that. But like, if someone's trying to punch you, like if I show you how to avoid it, it becomes a lot easier, right? And so if somebody tries to, like in boxing, right? If somebody tries to just like punch you like on a hook, right? You know to block it, right? And obviously, like, you see someone hooking, block it, right? So the thing with cold calling is, like, this is like boxing. Like, somebody's going to punch you. Like, somebody's going to try to punch you, right? But they're very slow at it, and it's not going to be shocking for you. You're just gonna have to figure out how to block it, how to get out of the way, and you'll be fine. Okay. That's it. So let's break down the most common objection, because that's what it is theoretically. So if somebody asks you, who are you? What do you want? A lot of people are gonna be like, my name is Zach. I'm with an investment hedge fund company, and we buy properties, and I'm an investor guy. A lot of people get really thrown off because what did I say first? You're saying lines on a script. And when somebody asks you a question that's off script, that's when a lot of people might get very nervous, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people get thrown off from that. But fortunately, pretty much there's 4 or 5 most very common objections when you use this simple script. And I've taught my VAs forever, basically how to do this. And this is pretty much what they are and how to overcome them. Like, just so you're like not nervous at all. So let me get some water and let's break this down. So the first one is, who is this? What do you want? Right? So are you interested in selling the property? Either they're going to say yes or no, but you might get an objection. And these are some of the objections you might get, right? Who is this? What do you want? Like, what do you want? Like, why do you want to buy my house? Like all this stuff, right? So there's the guru school of thought, and there's the actual legit successful school of thought. Now, if you want to be successful, if somebody asks you, who is this and what do you want? I always say this, and this is a very uncommon with wholesaling, especially with what I do. But it's going to be a shocking statement. People are going to be offended by this, the gurus. But like, don't lie to people. Do the right thing. And that's shocking, I know. But I have found, I've done my studies, when you lie to people, that's usually not a good thing. Okay? And that's not how you build trust. And when you lie, like, you got to remember the lie, and then lying is not good. Okay? And when you're lying, you don't sound as genuine in your conversation, which the seller's going to sniff a mile away, and it's not going to be good. So when somebody asks who you are, I've had gurus tell you, say that you're an investment hedge fund company looking to buy millions of dollars. You have millions of dollars in funding with private lenders, and you're buying all these. You're lying, okay? Like, homie, you're 18 years old. You do not work for a hedge fund, okay? Like, stop the cap, okay? What I found, just say the truth. So who is this? So obviously there's truths, there's levels of truths, right? So who is this? This is Zach. I'm 17 years old. I live with my parents and I have no money, but I want to buy your property. That's the truth when I was 17. Not going to lie. That's the truth. Should I say that? Well, why don't we say another truth, right? So what is another truth that's better? It's still the truth, right? But it's just a little different where it might help with your cold calling. Now, you could say that. The chances of you closing deals not going to be as well. So what's a better truth? Okay, here's a better truth. Hey, this is Zach. I'm looking to buy your property for cash. What do you want? Well, me and my cash partner are looking to buy some more properties in the neighborhood. Are you looking to sell it? That is how you answer that objection. Just remember, guys, that's still the same truth as what I said before. I'm looking to buy your property. Me and my partner are looking to buy your property. My cash buyer is my partner. Okay? They're my partner. So we together as a collective are going to buy the property. Maybe not together. Maybe I sign the contract to him, but we're partners in this transaction. Maybe they're like, what are you going to do with the house? I get that all the time. Well, I think about my cash partner, right? So I'm like, well, me and my partner, sometimes we buy them as rentals. Sometimes we like to flip the property. Usually we don't know what to do unless we actually see the house, right? So can you tell me a little about the house, Mr. Seller? And then you can get the whole conversation, right? But like, fundamentally, don't lie to your seller. But really, it's not lying if you and your partner, which is your cash buyer, are going to buy the property cash. You're not lying, right? And I always say the truth in that, and it's honestly true. So it works for me, right? So who is this? What do you want? All this stuff, guys. Don't worry about it too much. That's how you really answer it. So that's how you do it. Next here. I would. This is my favorite. Are you interested in selling your property? Oh, I would, but where would I move to? Right? That's probably the most ridiculous objection. It's not even an objection. And this brings us back to the fundamentals of wholesaling, right? We're not looking to buy someone's house unless they want to sell it. And when somebody wants to sell their property, it's usually for a motivation or a reason, right? So if somebody doesn't have a reason for selling, Like says, I would sell this property, but where would I move to? And people get really thrown off by that. It's kind of confusing to me because if you have to ask yourself where you're going to move to, you obviously don't want to sell your house, right? And it's funny, but like, right? It just, I think it's hilarious. But yeah, if they don't even know where they want to move to, they probably don't have a motivation, right? A motivated seller is like, hey, I just want to get rid of this property. Okay, I'll figure out where I move to. I just gotta sell this thing. Usually when I see that, it says, so if someone says, where would I move to? Well, we're going to buy your property, so you'll have cash. You can buy any house you really want with that cash, right? You can move next door. You can move in another city. You can move in the same place. Or you can move with your family. It's whatever you really want. It's your life. It's a free country, right? Like 95% of the time, it's not a true motivated seller. So I honestly would not be dealing with it. So yeah, I would skip that one. Next is, this is probably the most common one that throws people off. And this is the easiest. This is the most scariest part for people. But this is actually the easiest one to like go over and actually destroy. So here's most common. Are you interested in selling your property? How much are you offering me for the house? How much do you want to sell how much do you want to buy the house for? How much are you offering me for the house? Huh? And I'm in Florida, so we get a lot of people from New York, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan. People don't really usually do that. Westchester County, Long Island, Nassau County, those rough and tough people, Boston, all those like Northeastern people that are pretty much to the point. What do you want? Huh? And they're the sweetest people ever, right? Like they're like, once you get to know people like that, plenty of friends from up there, they're great people, right? I have a lot of friends that are Patriots fans that are from that area, but like, geez, they come off rude sometimes, okay? Especially when they don't know you. When they know you, they're the sweetest people ever, but like when they don't know you, they're a little rough and to the point, right? And some personality types are that. So sometimes you'll call somebody and they'll pretty much say, hey, you'll ask, hey, are you interested in selling your property? How much are they going to offer me for the property, huh? And they say it fast and really aggressively. And the problem is, if you really don't know how to answer that, you're going to get stumbled hard. And I have found from just so much personal experimentation on my cold calling, there's only really one really good way to overcome this. There's a couple ones, but like really what I found from my VAs and from me cold calling and everything, like it's really just using basically the car analogy. And I call it the test drive analogy, whatever you want, right? But basically just ask them this question. So someone will say, so someone asks, how much are you offering for the house, Zach? Huh? And they go really hard on me, like, well, John, I have a quick question for you before I answer that. How much I'm going to offer you for the house? Yeah? What's your question? And this is when I throw them off, right? Do you own a car? Yeah, I own a car. Well, when you bought that car, did you test drive it? Of course I test drive the car. Duh. So you're agreeing with me, before you buy a car or something that expensive, you'd probably test drive it and check it out before you just buy it, right? Yeah, duh. I get that, right? And so I'll say, well, same thing about a house. Like, why would I offer you something on the property if I haven't test driven and actually seen the inside of the property? I don't know if the property has termite damage. I don't know if there's rats everywhere. I don't know if it's the most perfect house ever. I really don't even know the condition. I don't know if it's updated or it's not. I have to test drive it and look inside. Well, that makes sense, right? So like, well, John, let me ask you some questions just so I know some information about it, right? It's like offering a Camaro, right? Is it a 68 Camaro? Is it like a newer Camaro? It's one of those new like V1s, right? Like you want to connect it with somebody to a point, but like that's pretty much it, right? And some people I know, like if they like fishing, I'll like say, have you bought a boat? Would you test drive a boat, right? I use that analogy too, but like the test driving thing works every single time. And even the most aggressive people always agree with you. You're not buying a car unless you're test driving it. Why would you buy a house sight unseen? That literally makes sense. The thing is, every single time, but like every single house is so different. Every single house is so different that it's not a cookie cutter. It's not even like a car. A car, pretty much, if I'm buying a 2020 Toyota Camry, I know what I'm getting into when I buy a 2020 Toyota Camry. When I buy a 1980s GL Homes in Dallas, Texas, and there's like let's say 5,000 of those built. There's probably a lot more. I could almost guarantee you not every single one's pretty much different over the past 42 years, right? You know, they buy it again, it gets bought 3 or 4 times. You know, the one person wants to have carpeting, one person wants laminate, one person wants, they want like real wood. One person then just wants carpeting everywhere. Then the other person wants tile, like linoleum. Like everyone paints it different. Like each property is different. So that's the easiest way to overcome that objection. I get that all the time. Like, how much are you offering for the property? Every single person that deals with the guru, they actually get thrown off every single time. Everyone that listens to me and my advice, they crush it because they ask the test driving approach, right? And it works, guys. Okay. Now, this is the one thing too. Now, unfortunately, with a cold call, and I hate to say this, but like when someone says they want to sell their property, I love just hang up the phone, put in the CRM, and then call them tomorrow, and they know I'm going to call them tomorrow. You can't do that, right? Remember, guys, what I said in the beginning of this video. You are not in the business right now of closing sellers. Like cold calling is not closing. That is acquisitions, guys. There's 3 key, basically frameworks of wholesaling. Wholesaling can be broken up into 3 parts: marketing, acquisitions, and dispositions. Okay, let me repeat this: marketing, acquisitions, and dispositions. Marketing, finding somebody that wants to sell the property. Acquisitions, we are acquiring contracts. So I bring someone who wants to sell the property and I bring them into a signed contract. Dispositions, we are disposing of the property pretty much to a point. Like we're just selling the contract. That's what it is. So cold calling is marketing. It's not acquisitions. Marketing, we're just looking for people who want to sell the property. That's it. So we're not looking to close. So remember, we're going to hey, yeah, I am looking to sell my property. Then people get like, what do I say then, right? Here's what it is. Ready? So if they say yes, ask them these 4 questions, right? These are the 4 questions. These aren't like scripts like I said, like I'm not a big believer in like doing word for word scripts because they sound literally terrible. I hate it. I like just having genuine conversations. And when you have genuine conversations, you're going to sound so much better. So let's break these down. So if they say yes, you guide them with these 4 pillars, the 4 pillars of wholesaling, right? So this isn't a script. This is something more or less of a guide, right? Like we want to guide the conversation in these 4 questions, and that's going to be the best way. So number 1 is motivation. So how do we do motivation? Hey, I am looking to sell my property. Oh, great. Well, why are you looking to sell the property? Remember, like that's motivation, right? Like there's no script to it, but you basically want to ask the question of why they're looking to sell the property. That's really, I want to figure out why. I want to have a genuine conversation. And the more you can hear more information, it just makes it easier to close them, right? Next is condition. What's the condition of the property? How's the roof? How old's the property? How many bedrooms is the house? Does it need updating? Are there any leaks? Is there any issues with the property? Just general, like, hey, how's the kitchen? Like, what's the condition of the house, right? Like, guys, I want you to understand that, like, these questions aren't for making it better or worse for finding someone who wants to sell, because we already found someone who wants to sell their house. This is number 1, so we get more intel if we're going to close the property or when we're going to close it. It actually helps us out, so we can do comps and all that stuff. But that's all acquisitions. Like it just makes that part easier, right? VAs, they don't really get into this too much, but if you're cold calling yourself, yes, right? And condition too. And when you're asking these questions, the seller is like, oh wow, he's asking me questions. He seems more legitimate. And the more you have a conversation with them, you sound more legit. So this is part and part getting more information, but also for you to sound more legit. Oh, this guy's asking me about the condition now. He's a little more legit, right? And then next last is time frame. When are they looking to sell the property? Are they looking to sell a house in 2 years, or they got to get rid of this thing in like a month? That will actually help us out understand their motivation for selling the property. Next, price. How much are they looking to sell the property for? Just a ballpark, right? Sometimes you don't get that, but really, you got to figure out more or less what it is. But like guide it in those 4 key things. Like they don't have to be those things like word for word, but you want to figure out their motivation. You want to figure out the condition of the property. You want to figure out their time frame. So when are they looking to sell it? And lastly, what price they're looking to get rid of the property for. Guys, I have books here from the 70s and 60s about wholesaling, about technically wholesaling, but real estate investing. I have Zig Ziglar books, literally from the 80s about sales. All this stuff has been done to death. Like these 4 pillars, I have not. No one alive right now has actually created these things. These are all from past salespeople, and I kind of use them for wholesaling. Rick's been using them for 20+ years. Guys, they work. Okay, there's a reason why I'm telling you it, because they stinking work. Now, step 4, we're just going to put the lead in the CRM. So we're going to tell the seller basically that we're going to look up some more info about the property. We're going to talk it over with our partner. It's okay if I give you a call back tomorrow after looking at everything and we can see what we can do going further with this property. Yeah, sure. We just kind of get off the phone. We put the lead in our CRM and boom, that's it, right? That is pretty much it to a point. A lot of people really confuse things, but like we're just getting the thing in our CRM and we're pretty much good to go. I don't know why people get really confused with it, but that's the honest truth. So that's basically it. So that's putting the lead in the CRM. Now, let me kind of break down this one thing too. And this is kind of like, you guys, you have the steps of how to cold call now, but let me kind of break down some, not mindset things, but some things to make you a little better at cold calling, right? So here's the question, right? What separates a good and bad cold caller? Confidence. Okay. I want everyone to understand that. Like, what's the difference in somebody that's really good at cold calling and somebody that's not good at cold calling? I found, hands down, the biggest contributing factor is all confidence. What is confidence? Confidence, more or less, is pretty much a belief in yourself of what you're saying. So the words you speak, if you believe them, you're going to be confident. As you've seen, you can even look at like politicians to a point. Like there's a left wing, there's a right wing. If you're a right wing person, you look at a left wing person and they speak about something they truly believe, they're super confident. They might be wrong of what you think, but you cannot deny that they're really good at speaking about it because they're confident. Now, if you're a left wing person, you look at someone on the right wing and they're saying something that you might not agree with, but if they believe in it, they're going to sound really confident and really assertive with it. That's with everything, right? You guys can look at like generals and warlords from like past histories when they're conquesting countries. And, when they speak like in the movies, like you're raiding a village. This is not good, but they're very, very confident in what they're doing. They do confident speeches, right? Because they believe in what they're doing. Okay. And it's confident. So when I tell you that I truly am going to change wholesaling real estate by giving all the information for free, and I don't want to be a guru, every single guru doesn't agree with me that you should charge this information. But I have 100% conviction and belief in my soul to give real estate wholesaling information for free, because I learned wholesaling for free from my dad, and I want to break that cycle for you guys and teach it all for free for you guys. And here's the cool part about it. Some people think I'm wrong with it, but I have 100% belief and conviction in myself that I'm going to help as many people as possible. I'm confident when I say that statement. Now, if I didn't believe what I was saying, I would not sound confident, but I'm 100% confident in my conviction and my belief of what I'm saying. So with your cold calling, if you don't truly believe that you and your partner, your cash partner is going to buy this property cash, you're not going to sound good over the phone. And it's all subconscious to a point too. Like if you're not believing yourself, you'll think you're saying the right thing, but your subconscious is not going to sound confident. It's going to destroy your success. Confidence, guys. So how to gain confidence, right? There's some proven ways to gain your confidence in cold calling. The easiest, pretty much the most proven way to gain confidence in anything really is experience and repetition. That's everything though, right? So, let's do a really simple one, right? If you're nervous right now to go do something, it's probably because you don't have experience with it. And that's it, right? I remember riding a bike, learning to ride a bike. And yes, of course, Rick, my dad, he taught me how to ride a bike. And I was super nervous taking the training wheels off. And this might seem like you guys are rolling your eyes, but it's true. Like you can use this analogy for anything, but like I was super nervous to fall off the bike, all this stuff, right? Ooh, I was nervous to start riding that bike. But here's the thing. The more I started riding the bike, I was like, hey, I'm getting better at this. And then I can ride a bike fine. Right? Like, guys, the one thing why people get nervous on things is because like there's a lot unknown, right? They're a little nervous about it. Like, what's the unknown? When riding a bike, I experienced the unknown. The worst case scenario. I fell off the bike. Scary. But here's the thing. You just keep doing it. You learn how to not fall off the bike. They don't really usually fall off a bike. Okay. That's pretty much it. So I don't think I've fallen off a bike since I was, oh, shoot. I think 4 months ago I fell off a bike because I was doing a mountain trail and then something went on the way and I kind of like skirted off of it for a second, but I was fine. I think 4 months ago. Jeez. But yeah, that's true, guys. It's experience and repetition is going to be the fastest, most proven way for anything to get experience with it, right? That's it. Guys, I can tell you right now, I was super nervous going to my first appointment. Super nervous. Super nervous talking to my first seller. Super nervous doing my first cold call. And I'm just keeping it 100% with you guys right now. I was super nervous. Super, super nervous. Okay. But here's the thing. Of course, I was nervous, but I knew every single cold call I did, I got better at it, right? Guys, my first wrestling tournament I did, I was super nervous. Got my butt whooped. Okay. My first match. Got my butt whooped in front of everyone. Okay. All my friends, everyone at the high school watching, right? It's embarrassing, right? You get your butt whooped. About a year later, I got the reps in and I started whooping people's butts. And then by my senior year, I was the person doing a lot of the scaring. Okay. I was scaring the new kids and I was kind of mean when I was wrestling, but that's the truth. You just got to put in the reps. And I hate to say it, but like, if you're nervous, good. Put the reps, get experience. The coolest part about being nervous to do something is you're only going to be nervous for like a very finite amount of time. There's only a certain amount of time you're going to be nervous cold calling. And that's your first pretty much, I'll say maybe 100 to 1,000 cold calls. Some people get less nervous there, but like getting nervous riding a bike, maybe a month, right? And if you're doing it every day, like you're not going to be nervous doing it. So that's it. So how do you gain confidence? Experience and reps is going to be the biggest part, right? Next, knowing your objections, right? So if you know what the worst case scenario you're going to get and you know how to overcome that. So let's break this down too with confidence, right? What's the worst thing that's going to happen from a cold calling? Did you cold call a DNC list? Are you going to get arrested? No. I've already broken down DNC laws at freewholesaling.com. You're pretty much good to go. I've read telemarketing laws. For most government lists, from what I've seen in talking to lawyers, you're good to go. Now, I'm not a lawyer, CPA, financial advisor. This is not legal advice. But most people cold call DNC lists and they're fine. Because to a point, a lot of lawyers and a lot of people that do the dialing company, they say it's TCPA compliant. So I've not met one person that's gotten hit hard with the DNC law that had a lawyer protecting them. You're fine. Okay. That's number one. Number two, what's the worst thing that happened? Somebody calls you a poopy head. And poopy head can be replaced with any word you can think in the English language that's derogatory and mean. I don't agree with that. I don't agree about ever saying anything mean about anyone. I don't agree with that, right? Well, maybe gurus, we can say mean things about them, but not too mean, right? I always say with gurus, like, I'm mean about their strategy of selling information. As the person, you're fine, okay? As people, they're good people, right? Probably. So, I don't know. I think they're good people. But what's the worst? Someone calls you a poopy head, all right? Someone screams at you and calls you a poopy head. Oh, no. The world is coming to an end. Guys, I hate to say this. There's two things of why I've never been nervous when someone calls me a poopy head. All right. Number one, I grew up playing Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2 Xbox Live chat parties and literally the live chats playing Modern Warfare. There is literally nothing, no human being on this earth can tell me that I did not hear in the span of playing those video games. Okay. Literally nothing. I once played Call of Duty Zombies and I did terrible and I destroyed the whole team and I revived someone, but then I died in the game and I got grilled hard. Okay. There's nothing you can say to me that I have not dealt with. Okay. Number two, my mama thinks I'm awesome. And that is it. So just remember that to a point, guys. I know this from a fact for me. My mom thinks I'm cool. She does think I'm cool. She tells me I'm cool. And I've heard it before. She does think I'm cool. So when somebody calls me a poopy head, that person doesn't know who I am. They don't know who my true personality is, and they don't really know me well. I think a lot of people know me well from these live streams, but like some of you cold calling random, they don't know who you are. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know the struggles you've gone through in your life. And if they did, they probably wouldn't say those words against you. My mom's basically known me since I was born. She only gave birth to me, right? And she knows me. So if she thinks I'm cool and she's been through all that, I kind of trust her over her judgment over someone else's, a random stranger's. So if your mom thinks you're cool, it doesn't matter what anyone else has to say. Okay. I've said that a million times. So when somebody gives, I get 99% of all comments are nice. When I get the 1% that's like really mean comment or saying someone saying something mean to me, I always reply back, hey, my mom thinks I'm cool. That's all that matters. My dog thinks I'm cool. Okay. He thinks I'm awesome. So why would I care? Right? It's just funny, right? Like the people I care about think I'm cool. My friends think I'm cool. Oh, they'll roast me, but they love me, right? But like, guys, it doesn't matter what like the judgment of others shouldn't mean anything to you. And the judgment of people that love you, it does take a lot more. But like, just understanding that like, if you truly believe in yourself, you'll be fine. So if someone calls me a poopy head, there's nothing I haven't heard before, and my mom thinks I'm cool. That's the best way I can kind of explain that, right? Next, having cash buyer on deck does make you more confident. You can basically say, once you have a cash buyer on deck, that you and your partner are ready to buy properties for cash. We buy a lot of houses, buy plenty of rentals. We bought in 4 properties last month. Because if you and your partner did it, yes. And so how are you able to say that statement? Well, I could say with a lot of things. So me and Steph Curry have combined won an NBA championship this year. Am I lying? No. Me and Steph Curry, if you combine our championships this year, we have collectively have won an NBA championship. Right? That's pretty cool, right? If you combine my bench press with the world record bench press, that's over 1,000 pounds. That's pretty impressive, right? If I combine my net worth with Warren Buffett's net worth, we equal out to billionaires collectively, right? You could say anything, right? If you combine of all the properties I've bought and all the properties that BlackRock has owned, we've bought in billions of dollars of real estate combined, right? Like you get in that thing all day. So if you're in a cash partner combined have bought in 4 properties last month, hey, we collectively bought in 4 properties last month, right? Wow, right? It blows my mind. A lot of people get really confused by that. That's the truth. So how else do you gain confidence, right? Knowing your scripts, but like not a script more or less to say line for line, but knowing what to say, that's going to help you a lot. And lastly, having the belief in your ability to buy the house with the cash buyer. That's really it. That's how you gain confidence. So guys, it's time to get calling. That's it, guys. Like that's how you cold call. I think a lot of people get really confused on the cold calling process. Guys, I really condensed an entire $2,000 cold calling course into basically an hour here. If you got any value, please smash that like button and subscribe, guys. Like this is how you cold call. This is the ultimate cold calling guide. So the last part here, which I didn't mention, because I always say this, but like, let me break this down. Like, what is the best time to cold call? There's 2 best times to cold call. Number 1, the best time to cold call is 2 to 7 p.m. I've always found that is the best one. Okay. Best time to cold call is usually 2 to 7 p.m. Now, the second best time to cold call is whenever you can cold call. Okay. As long as you cold call before 9 p.m. and after 8 a.m., you're TCPA compliant. That's basically the laws of Telephone Communication Protections Act. You're good to go. So that's pretty much it, guys. Like that is how you do it. So what I want to do right now is I want to break down some role plays with you guys. I do want to have you guys try cold calling me and really seeing how you're doing. And we can judge it from there and really how you deal with the script and go from there. Guys, I'm not here to judge. I do want to help everyone out and see how I can help you guys out. So we're going to do some role plays. So what I want to do is I might be able to do a one-on-one or 2 today, but like really want to do is do these one-on-ones on the role plays. So what I want to do is if you want to do a one-on-one, I would love to talk to you guys and see what we can do. And let's go. So let's do some role plays. Let me answer some comments really quick and then we'll get into the one-on-one role plays. But guys, that's my cold calling script. Like it's not complicated, guys. Like you really just put in the work. You do what I say. It'll work well, guys. So let's break this down. Let's do some comments really quick and see if I can answer any questions you guys have. But yeah, guys, that's really it.